on today's episode of Opening the Cervix. Welcome back to Cat and Cat.
Tattoo talk.
Yes.
But today, it's baby talk.
Baby talk. We have our first guest, which is very exciting. For those of you who don't know.
It's me. I feel like I'm gonna regret because I can't not be weird around you guys, and I really. All right.
For those of you who don't know, this is Anne. She is our senior piercer, as well as a almost junior tattoo artist. We're almost there. You're an apprentice,
We're
but
almost
like
there. Yes,
real close.
yes, I
Mhm.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, inching closer every day. Speaking of inching closer every day, we're inching closer every day. Like, I can't believe, like, yes, there it is in the flesh. And
The
it
baby.
gets more and more. Yes.
Nothing to say. I'm so pregnant. I can't even breathe.
Oh, I
It's fine.
know. That's okay. I do feel bad for you, but I secretly, like, love it. Like, when you're like, when I texted you and I was like, can I have the keys to the shop? Because I was going to come and tattoo Steve. And you're like, I can't go down the stairs to put the keys in the mailbox.
Yeah.
Like, no problem. I love it. I totally, yeah, that's what it is. The terminal stages of pregnancy, as Mike Scott would say.
That's a really good way of putting it. It definitely feels like the terminal
It
stages.
feels terminal. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'm a
It
host.
does. Yeah. But not as terminal as you that went to 41 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, both of my kids came early, and I feel like 41 weeks, like, I lived in dread of even carrying to my due date, because, like, when you, like, the stage that you're at right now, like, you're just done. Your body's done. Your mind is done. You're just exhausted and you're sore and you're just done. I don't know how you did that.
I don't know either, because I was convinced that she was coming early, because everyone's like, oh, you have your first baby and they come early. So I was like, ooh, maybe I'll have my baby on May 2-4 if she was due originally June 7th. And then June 14th. Sorry, it was June 13th. They like did like the Foley catheter balloon.
Mm-hmm.
And
the catheter balloon.
They did the catheter balloon. And then the next
Yes.
morning I was like, I just feel more pregnant. And then I was waddling funny because I had a inflated balloon in my
That's so
cervix.
weird.
Sorry for like those of us who don't. What's a catheter balloon?
It's a Foley catheter. It's they put a catheter
Yeah.
up and in, and they blow up a balloon to help you
It's help your
dilate.
cervix dilate. Yeah, to help your cervix dilate. But you can walk. Yeah. But
So I had it in for like 12 to 16 hours, and it still didn't help me dilate. So I went to like waddled my ass to the hospital the next morning, and then I was there for about 2 hours. And then they had to manually break my water because my water still hadn't broken. It was officially 7 days over.
Okay.
And then 12 hours later, I gave birth.
That's terrible. I'm so sorry for you.
It was bullshit.
Wow. Just hopping right into it.
Yeah, we're just hopping right into
What
it.
was like birthing experiences?
I don't remember anything, really. I can tell you snippets if we start talking about things,
Like,
but
I
I
feel
don't
like,
remember
your
much.
trauma like blocked it out, which is very real.
Yeah.
Like, because it is like, I feel like I feel like we talk about this all the time. You're very unprepared. People are very unprepared for the reality of what giving birth is, what happens to your body immediately after you give birth and through the recovery of giving birth. And it's not something that's talked about.
No.
And it's very glorified, and it's made to be very beautiful, and in certain there's so much of it that is so beautiful, but there's so much of it that it can be quite traumatic.
Yeah.
If you're not expecting these things to happen to you and then they do, and you don't think you're normal, or you don't expect it to linger, like these feelings to linger, it can be really, really upsetting. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't gotten to that stage yet, but a lot of it so far is like, okay, all these things are happening, and then I'll bring it up, and then people are like, oh yeah, me too. And I'm like,
Yes.
well, why aren't people
talking
talking
about
about this stuff? Because it's, for some reason, I don't know if it's just the small town mentality or what, but unless it's something super positive, and this is like the most magical miracle I've ever experienced, when there's times I do feel that way, but there's a lot of times where I don't. But unless it's that narrative that you're talking about, people are almost like, oh, whoa, like, why are you?
It's because people feel shame. Like, we're made, like, there's such a rhetoric throughout history, and it's so prevalent today, like, where the woman's body is made to give birth, and it is in a lot of respects, but like, we feel shame when we don't experience things the way that we're told to experience them. And you can even like there is beauty in the pain of it and in the suffering of it, right? It can still be beautiful while you are laboring, like before you're laboring, after, if you have postpartum, if you're having like emotional issues or whatever, there's still beauty in that, but that's not talked about. You can't have both. Like, we live in a world where both of those things cannot exist at once. You either have to be like so fucking like elated that you've given birth and like all your problems go away when you hold your baby, and then you go home and they're in a little bassinet and it's perfect, and like your breasts are full of milk and the baby, it's just like this beautiful thing, which is true, but
X, Y, and Z doesn't happen for everyone.
Right. Right.
And I would argue that most people that I talk to who have given birth have not had this wonderful experience. But again, it's not talked about readily unless it is pulled out of you by sharing your own experience. Right? Yeah. Like, unless you're like, no, it was fucking like, I blocked it out of my memory because it traumatized me.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, you forget the pain as soon as, like, no, you don't, though. And it's okay that you don't.
Yeah.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah, and I think there's so much, again, not having actually experienced it yet, but everything online, everything in movies, and like the way that it's depicted is so much fear-mongering around the whole experience. So you go into it already fucking nervous.
Yes. Yeah.
Already like hearing all these horror stories and like, you know, expecting the worst to happen, which it's good to prepare your mind and be open that, okay, my birth plan probably isn't going to go exactly as I want, or whatever it is. But there's also the sense of, you know, putting positive into the world and going into it with that mindset, because I think a lot of it can be how your preconceived notion of what the experience is going to be like. So for me, I'm like, I don't want to be in a hospital. I already have anxiety around it. You have people coming in and out. I don't want to say that all doctors or all OBs are like this, but I feel like they're fucking tired. They're overworked. They're understaffed, and they just want to get that kid out. So guess what? You're probably going to have an episiotomy a bit more likely than if you're at home with a midwife. Because they're like, let's fucking using forceps and all this stuff. But I'm like,
and there's no preparedness. If you don't have a midwife, did you have a midwife?
No.
Okay, so there's no preparedness.
No.
It's not like, please do the like massage your perineum, use the primrose oil, use the raspberry leaf tea. All of these things are not like, they're just like, oh, if your body's not going to stretch enough, we're going to cut you so that it does. If your baby's not going to come on its own, we're going to suction its head so it can. Like, yes, these things have to happen. They really do. And they happened for me in one of my birthing experiences, and it had to be done, and that's fine. And there is a time and a place for it. But there's other things that you can do to be prepared for that moment, where you yourself can assume control of your own experience. And I feel like when you have an OBG, like I had a midwife, Finley was delivered by an OBG, and she was an angel sent from heaven, because I had complications and it wouldn't have been done without her. And I'm so grateful for her. But the education that comes along with it, and you assuming control over your own labor experience, is not what's told to you. You're just, it's not.
It's like you show up, you do the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
there's
like,
bye, go home.
No.
Wear your diaper and go home.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sorry.
Okay. So just so everyone at home knows, Kat has a daughter, Lorelai, who is 8.
She's turning 8 this year,
Turning 8 this year. And then you have 2 boys, Finley and Ian.
14 and 11.
And Finley's older, Ian.
Finley's older, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm so glad I had Ian, because I was so, not that like, okay, Finley is like, Finley, you're the love of my life, okay? I had such a bad experience, and then I had a bad experience after, like, bringing him home. I had postpartum. It was awful. I didn't know what was happening to me. I was so afraid. I had anxiety all through my pregnancy with Ian, because I was so afraid of giving birth, and it was the most beautiful birthing experience that I've had, okay? So it's like I'm glad. Like, I always say, like, God gave that to me because I was able to enjoy it for what it is, and enjoy baby Ian. And also enjoy Finley more because of it, because like I was able to reflect back on like that it was okay that I went through these things with Finn, and and it's okay.
No one talks about postpartum.
Oh God, nobody does.
Even the word itself almost has like an immediate reaction.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. But I think they say 1 out of 3 birth people have it. Like
What was your experience like with postpartum?
I lost it about 4 years.
Yeah.
See, that's never talked about either.
No.
To me, it's like
I lost it about 4 years.
Like your post areas is 6 weeks.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to see one person.
Like
that's what they say.
Within the first 6 weeks of Lorelai being born, we also had a house fire.
Oh my God, yeah.
So
fuck.
we had that on top of it. So like it was stretched out for a very long time. So yeah, it was about 4 years before I felt like okay as a parent. So it's definitely been in the last like 3-4 years that I've been like, oh well, I'm doing this and I'm doing it now, but like it's all the beginning is all a blur, and I don't remember anything unless I look back on photos or people tell me it's something that's happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that could have been perpetuated by, like, because postpartum's not talked about? I mean, it is talked about. Like, we hear it in the media, we hear like it's normal, whatever, but nobody goes into like the
specifics.
the dark things that can
Yeah.
occupy your mind, but also the guilt you feel because, like, maybe, and I mean, this might not be true, but like, you feel shame as a mother,
absolutely.
and then that perpetuates that feeling of postpartum because you feel like you are doing something wrong, right? Like, I'm not a fit mother. I'm not able to do this for my child. Like, if I'm not able to do this for my child, or if I'm not able to feel the way I'm supposed to feel about my child, what does that mean about myself? What does that mean about, and then it just like,
it's one thing after another, and then they all just kind of like stack on top of each other. So like one of the main things was not being able to breastfeed. I wasn't producing. But then they brought in like a lactation consultant. She would come to the house like twice a week and basically just give me shit because I wasn't producing. And I was like, I don't know what you want from me. And she's like, well, you've had some breast growth, so you should be able to produce milk. I was like, yeah, it looks
bitch,
like
I can't.
I was like, it looks like I have tits for the first time in my life, but I'm sorry, it's not producing. I'm not producing milk. I don't know what to tell you. It's just, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
wow, that's awful bedside manner.
yeah, she was not the greatest. I can't remember her name. I wish I could throw her under the bus. Yeah, it was awful. I tried everything. And it was driving me crazy. It was driving Chris crazy, where he was like, well, like, just do what you can. And I was like, what I'm going to do is switch to formula, because sitting here with a pump attached to me and literally nothing happening isn't keeping our kid healthy. Like, she was severely jaundiced.
And then you probably got shamed into not breastfeeding. Isn't that nice? Girls. Like,
what makes me so mad, and from what I can see outwardly, is that it's all women who are shaming other women. I've never heard a man be like, as if she's not breastfeeding. It's always women.
Yes.
It's
why?
I don't know. The whole breast is
that?
best narrative is just bullshit, because it's like, no, fat is best. It really shouldn't matter, because not all birth parents are women.
Well,
yes,
that's
and
true.
like,
So,
are you
sure.
putting
Fuck your hat.
nourishing foods into your baby? If the answer to that is yes,
yeah,
congratulations.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is, right? Like, if you're feeding the child
and
so
the
that
baby's gaining,
and the baby's gaining weight and not like dying, you're doing it right. But no, women are the fucking worst. Okay, and like, they are, because it's I don't know. This like, it's cultural. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's been going on for a long time. It's not just our day. It's our grandmother's day. It's the internal shame. But what is the root? What is the root of it, guys? I don't know. I've wondered this forever.
I think it's very historic, and it's been passed down. And because people aren't having conversations even like this, really, to be so transparent, they're not changing it for the next generation. So, I try and find this line between trauma dumping on random people, but also being honest. Because if someone's like, even my client today, how are you? I'm irritable.
Yeah.
She's clearly, I hate you. Like, asking about, because I'm so pregnant. She's a client that I know, and she's had a baby, and we've talked about that kind of stuff. But it's like, why am I going to pretend that I'm having an experience that I'm not in this moment?
Yeah.
So I think the more that we can be transparent, honest, and really share our story when appropriate, that the next generation who's hearing that, if they go through something similar, they're going to be like, oh, well, I've actually heard of that before, or I can reach out to that person.
And won't be so mortified.
Yes.
Yeah. And it wasn't until I had gone through specific things where I was like, I haven't even heard of this happening to anyone. And I started asking people, and they were like, oh yeah, I know so-and-so, I know so, and like, so many people I got in touch with. And I was like, how has this never been a conversation before?
Because
because you're pregnant, and then the baby happens, and then that's all people care about.
You have this beautiful baby, and you like, you go home, and people pretend like their stomach doesn't look like a waterbed for like 3, and people like, when they were like, okay, so you're done giving birth. Okay, so you're going to bleed for 3 weeks, and you're going to wear a fucking diaper in your home for the next, X number of days. Nobody told me that.
Right.
Nobody told me that I was going to have stitches. Like,
and that you were going to look like you were 7 months pregnant for the next month and a half.
Yes. And then, but you know what? I blame the media, as I do blame the media for everything, because it's like we are shown these pictures of women who give birth, who then are like snapped by what paparazzi on the street looking like beautiful, perfect, whatever, after like a month of giving birth. This is not reality. Like aspiring to be that is not realistic. It's only going to hurt you, and that has to come, like you said, that has to come from within yourself. But also, parents have a responsibility to stop that cycle with their own children. I mean, we were all raised by baby boomers who like, my mom was like, the day that I birthed you was the happiest day of my life. And I held you and all my problems went away. And like everything was beautiful. And that's fine. But I was, as close as I am with my mother, I was never told that you're going to be naked, giving birth on all fours, fucking like
shit yourself.
You know what I mean? You're going to poop.
Yeah.
It's like not a nice show.
No.
Oh my God.
Oh, I know.
I went and visited my grandma, 97, bless her. And my dad was with me and she was asking me questions and stuff. And then my dad was like, oh, well, Katrina's going to give birth at home. And my grandma was just like, you can do that? They used to be sedated.
I was going to say, like, in her day, they'd be like, here, go for a night.
Literally.
And when you wake up, you're going to have a baby in your arms.
And she was telling me about the time that she saw, she has 8 kids and then however many grandkids. She saw a birthing video of one of her offspring and she had never seen it. She didn't understand what happened because she had literally never seen it because they would like sedate you.
Yes.
My grandfather wasn't in any of the rooms for all 8 births and she didn't really know what happened because it's like a sheets up. And that's just how it was.
Oh,
like she's 97, so this was literally 100 years ago.
But I feel like in the 50s, 40s, and 50s, they actually put you to sleep.
Yes, so she would have been 30 in the
like they put you to sleep, and then you wake up with a baby. It's like you're not even experiencing any of that. Lord knows how they get the baby out, whether because I don't know anything. Caitlin's traumatized. It's true. It's very scary stuff.
Take back my birth. I want to be knocked unconscious.
Wouldn't that be nice though?
Yeah.
Oh, and I know I'm so delusional because I haven't gone through it. And there's probably people who are listening to this and they're going to be like, yeah, you don't know what's coming for you. But like, I'm excited to feel everything.
Yes.
No,
and I
that's
want to
good.
have the full experience.
Yes.
And I want to, just take away all of that fear and go into it being like, this is what my body's meant to do. And I'm just going to do it in my living room.
Yes. Yes. And and that like these, it's like, oh, we did like Lamaze or like prenatal yoga, or like I have my playlist or I have my breathing. I'm telling you, when you have a fucking contraction, when you're 8 centimeters dilated, you are going to breathe the way that your carnal fucking body is telling you to breathe. No amount of breathing practice, no amount of whatever is going to, like, you can't even think. Like you can't even think.
It's primal. Your body takes over.
It's primal. Yeah.
Well, they say that if a birthing person were to pass out, the body would still push out the baby.
Yeah.
So your
I didn't know
body,
that.
so your body and all the muscles like will take over and actually birth the child for you. So there isn't, obviously every birthing experience is different, but there shouldn't be a reason to bear down. Your body should push it out for you.
Yes.
Which is, there's risks and pros to everything that you're going to choose within your birthing experience.
Yes.
Did either of you have like definite no's of like the one that you and I were talking about on my birth plan? It says absolutely no forceps. I would rather a C-section.
Yes, I did that as well. Yeah, because yes, no forceps. And that's not like, what do I know, right? Like I'm not a medical professional. I was not comfortable with that. And that's okay. And it's okay. Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe someone gave birth 10 years ago and they didn't know like the risks of that. And that's 100%. Just what happened during their birthing experience. And that's fine. But it's the more knowledge and more information that we have from people talking, the more that we understand why things maybe aren't as good as others. But like the links, for me, it was the links to mental health down the road that had to do with traumatic birth experiences with using forceps and suctions. That was one of the things that came out with my brother's diagnosis was they think it's because of his birth. My mom had like the worst, most traumatic birth with him, and they had used forceps, and like it was like really bad, and they think that has to do with his struggles. Isn't that crazy?
Yes. Well, my cousin, like my first cousin, the same thing. And my mom, when I was going to the hospital with Finley, she was like, "Don't let them use the forceps," because my cousin that's what happened. And bless it, like she isn't doing well. Like she's just, and, but like, who's to say I just was not comfortable with it. And I think that the good thing is, like we shit on everything, but the good thing is we at least live in a time where you can vocalize that to your healthcare provider and they will respect that to the best of their ability. They'll communicate with you, let you know, whether like what they're doing or whatever.
Yeah.
But more about priming the cervix.
Oh God.
I've been having so much sex. Kay, your orgasms when you're looking at me like that's disgusting, but that's okay. The house plant. Kay, I don't know if it's like the blood flow or what, but like it's literally like double the amount of time of like orgasm. Like the length of an orgasm is literally double. It's fucking crazy.
I don't know why that is. It must have something to do with like the muscle. I'm going to sound like such an idiot. I don't know. I don't know. That's amazing though.
It's apparently to do with like the amount of blood and oxygen that's flowing through your body. And then it's like, I think also the pressure.
The tightness of the muscles.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what they don't tell you. I mean, like even just when like you had the experience of them like breaking your water, like I remember when I had Finley, I was having contractions and I'm like, you know what? I can go to the hospital in an hour. I had a shower. I like blow dried my hair.
Oh, that's lovely.
I lotioned my body. I was like, I went and picked up my tsitsi because she was going to be like my birthing person. Aww. And we went to the hospital. I'm like, this is not, I'm like, it's just good. My midwife came. She's like, okay, well, like you're 5 centimeters, but like your water hasn't broken. So I'm going to break your water and it's going to bring on your contractions a little bit stronger. Are you okay with that? I was like, sure. And they get this like thing that looks like a crochet needle and they're like and your water breaks and then you're like, Lord Jesus, like it's like after that it's like you go fully into, oh my God, I was not expecting this, like I am now an animal in the woods giving birth, because it just it hurts so bad. It's like a completely different pain and you're just like out of your head in pain, out of your head.
Yeah, very strange pressure.
Yes. Yeah.
Very strange pressure.
I had all of these beautiful, like, I'm like, I'm gonna look so cute in my pictures.
Oh, I can't wait. We're like videotaping.
Oh, God.
We're gonna have a GoPro stuck to the ceiling. Bree's gonna be there.
No, that's good though.
Ready to hut. Anthony's gonna be in the tub with me. It's gonna be great.
Anthony.
What an angel.
What an
He's
angel.
like, I don't know if I'd have kids if I wasn't with him. Honestly.
No, Anthony's Anthony, you're a good boy, okay? And like you're one of the rare. I know he's not watching, he doesn't care. That's okay. That's okay.
Give Ange a microphone, she's gonna do her shout outs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I will.
Yeah. So I can't speak to this, but I would really like to hear your stories about being as tattooed as you are and being a parent.
You're way more tattooed than me.
But like, do you get like, is the
fuck yeah?
Like, do you get weird looks? Like, is it like a
it's dirty looks day after day, like literally every day.
People think that you're just degenerate. Degenerate mothers.
Wow. I don't get out of my car in the morning anymore.
That's really sad.
So I wait until the last minute before the bell goes, and I don't walk Lord to the front of the school anymore. She just walks across the lawn by herself.
That's really sad.
Because if I do get dressed and I leave the car and I go out, you get the little side shuffle.
Okay.
And the looks, and it's always weird. And especially at nighttime pickup, because I have to exit my vehicle and I have to buzz into the school to pick her up.
Okay.
And every time that door gets opened, it's, who are you here for? Lorelai, as I have been for the last 4 years.
How many years?
Really?
Yeah.
That's fucking, I don't know. I shouldn't be so shocked. I'm clearly naive, but like, what? We're in what? It's so many people are tattooed.
Yeah, but but this
it's mostly, you see dads that are tattooed. You don't see moms with their hands and their knuckles and their face.
It's because you're a mother. There is, and you know what? There is a sacredness. And I will say, I have been like, even, with Finley's, especially like Finley's friends, parents and stuff, I've been a little shy, I guess, to show like my tattoos, or I've been very aware of people looking at me when I'm, sleeveless or whatever, because I assume that they are going to pass judgment on the way that I mother my children, the way that I love my children, the dedication that I have to my children. It's so sad. And most of them haven't. I've only experienced it like a few times. I do get some looks. But it's very, very, very painful because you feel like you have to, here I am, like I'm literally, I understand my privilege, okay? I really do. I understand my privilege, but I feel like in that regard, you almost have to like show that you, like sometimes like I'll make a show almost of being overly loving or overly attentive or overly whatever, just so that, just to solidify in people's minds that my children are like my sun and moon. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're my sun and moon, and I worship the ground that they walk on, and I love them a painful amount. Like when I think about how much I love them, like I hurt. And it's just sad that people pass so much judgment on others based on the way that they look, that they, you know, it's really sad. It is.
It's like straight up my choice. It's my life. And my choices, or at least my choices physically, shouldn't affect my daughter's upbringing. She's loved, she's fed, she's watered, she's housed,
and she's doted on. Like Lorelai is like doted on. Like she's so lovable. She has so many people that love her. So many people that like,
she has an insane amount of love.
Yes, and she's a very, and you would like the fact that somebody would give you a dirty look or make assumptions about you or your character or your ability to mother after meeting Lorelai. She is so self-assured, so well-spoken, so like I don't want to like comment on her looks, but she's so cute. She's so well-dressed all the time. Like she looks like she's just living this beautiful, beautiful life with people that dote on her and love her. And
she does.
I know, but that you would get that look opening the door when you open the door to the school.
Yeah, I get it. And then even in public, just from like strangers, they like every once in a while, I'm like, my God, people are looking at me like I've stolen this child because she's got like the blonde hair and the blue eyes. And I'm like, I get it. I don't look like that. But if I had let myself naturally look like that, I would be so unhappy.
Yes.
Like if I just grew my hair out and was like, I'm a blonde. Yeah. Yes, it is true. You know, like,
because when you're a mom, you're not allowed. It's like you're not allowed to express your individuality.
Yeah.
Because your life is supposed to be for your children. And your life is for your children.
My life is for my child. I work 5 days a week and I bust my ass to do everything for her so that she has the life that I always wanted. But I'm not also going to do those things and limit my own happiness. And my happiness is getting tattooed, being a tattooer, and partaking in very queer shit.
And of all like that make you happy, honestly, of all the things in the universe that could make one happy, 100%.
Yes.
100%. Yes. Yes. And be who you want to be, because evolution as a human being is only good. It's only good. Yeah.
Be authentically you and don't let other people impact how you're being. And I feel like we see that all the time. That breaks my heart that there's women that feel like they aren't enough because of how society is viewing them because they're a parent, or that they have to be a certain way. And, you know, I can't speak to it to the level that you both can because you've been parents for so long.
You will soon.
But it's like, even, you know, I'll have my midsection showing and I'm clearly pregnant and the looks that I get. And I don't even think it's just because I'm tattooed. I think it's because it's me somehow looking sexual, which is someone else making that opinion. That's not my purpose. I'm fucking warm as
Show
shit.
your fucking midriff.
Because I'm warm. I'm having a hot flash.
Like, doesn't matter your size, pregnancy, whatever. Show your fucking midriff.
Yeah. Be naked online if you want. Like,
be naked online.
And clearly that's, you know, something that I'm not shy to do. And being pregnant and doing that, and just, I don't know why you're not allowed to still be a sexual being just because you're pregnant. How do you think I got pregnant?
Yeah.
Because there's this like, there's the, remember when Ian was, remember when Ian was ripping I almost said toilet paper.
Paper towel.
The paper towel.
Yeah, the TikTok.
Shame on TikTok commenters.
Let's give them some back.
Okay, so my son, who is 11, who is an angel from the heavens.
We love him.
We love Ian. You're the Ian. I love you so much. You're such a darling. Anyway, he was here and he was ripping paper towel to help out. He had gloves on and everything. And Rylu filmed him and put him on the shop TikTok because he's a perfect angel. The caption on TikTok said something to the effect of like, when your mom's a tattoo artist and she puts you to work, blah, blah, blah. So this mean person on the interwebs was like, child, do you know that your mother is I forget, what did they say?
Just basically insinuated that their mother was
a hoe.
Yeah.
Right, a tattooed hoe.
Yeah, so a hoe. Yeah, it's me.
I love it though.
No, it is.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's good. Little did they know it was me. And you know, I got so upset because I was like, you know what? If Ian was Katrina's bebe, I know Ian. Ian would be the same. He would be allowed to be the weird little nerdy Ian that he is. He would be the same, right? So it's like, why are we being mean to moms that look different?
It's wild.
Why are we doing that?
Because you're a mom, you're not allowed to show your body or to do whatever you want to do or be authentically you. And if that means that X, Y, and Z, that's not going to impact your ability to parent.
There's a shame within themselves and there's jealousy.
Yes.
They enjoy women like that in private.
Yes.
But they don't want to see mothers.
They don't want to see like women are objects and they should do what you want. If I want you to be sexy, you're not going to be a mom. You're going to be on fucking Pornhub.
Yeah, that was like when
You're going to be a mother. You're going to fucking be obedient and you're going to be all of these things.
Yeah.
Obedient.
But we can't talk about men because I love Steve. I love you, Steve. I know, I need to stop talking to the camera. But I can't. Men though, there is some unlearning that our society needs to do with how we. And it's mothers. I'm blaming the mothers.
I'm blaming the mothers.
Blaming the mothers. Raise your children to not objectify women. And the objectification of women does not just come in the form that we are used to. It's not just over-sexualizing women.
Yeah.
It's these preconceived notions that are deep within the psyche of the man that will subconsciously end up on their wives, on their partners, on their sisters, on their children. It has to stop. It has to be fucking unlearned. Unlearn that shit. Unlearn it.
Why are you smirking?
Oh, I was just thinking back to like even when I did like the inked mag stuff.
You did it in really?
Cat's like a whole other level of hot. Like,
Oh no, I know.
What? I know, like, yeah.
You need to.
They almost won.
You need to show me that.
That's how Riley and I met. Was
Yeah.
like I had hired Riley to do my photos for.
Oh, is that like the one with you in like the tub and stuff?
Yeah. Well, no, that was after.
Oh,
that was after.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we both started working here, I
Okay.
was done this competition to be on the cover of Inked magazine. And
Why? Because Kat is a person who is allowed to express themselves. This is why.
okay.
Carry on.
But yeah, there was commentary around that about like me being naked or half naked and my photo being everywhere and how that reflected on me as a parent. And I'm like, also human. And yeah, it may be like perceived in a sexual manner, but it wasn't my intention. It was just literally being like, how else are you supposed to see my tattoos if I'm not naked or half naked?
But also, why is this a
Even
conversation?
if you're a sex
Even
worker,
if it is sexual
doesn't
or
fucking matter.
yeah, it doesn't fucking matter.
Why can't people be like,
like whatever?
is what this person's doing, is this impacting my life?
No.
No?
Oh.
Okay, let's talk about something else. Why? And you know what? Here I am talking about like, and I literally told Riley today, I was like, I don't post on social media, right?
Yeah,
and a lot
no,
of
not
it
really.
is like, I'm lazy AF. B, I get very like, I get hyper aware of myself, and I don't want to come across as attention seeking on any level, right? Because of course I'm attention seeking. I am.
Yeah,
Everybody's I
sure.
am. Of course I want to be told that I'm cute or that I look nice or that, of course, but I don't want it to seem like I am looking for that, which might be a pride thing, to be honest with you, true confessions. But like,
Okay.
that is a way that I need to evolve too, just to be like, it's okay. I should feel like I'm allowed. If I feel like I look nice, I should be allowed to like,
Yeah.
let the world know how cute I am.
Yeah.
You know,
Cute.
Thanks,
You're
buddy.
so cute. But you also don't have to either. It's like
I
whatever
know.
anyone wants to do. And people, like Riley's saying, is like, it's not that deep. People make way too big of things of thing. Do whatever the fuck you want. Who gives a shit?
We have too much time on our hands.
It goes way beyond that of people having opinions.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's all them reflecting on other people. It's all their own insecurity. It's envy. It's whatever the fuck it is. It actually has nothing to do with the person that they're judging. And we need to remind ourselves of that because it's so easy to get in your head and be like, oh, like, how are they perceiving me? All this bullshit. Who fucking cares? Because if someone's going to judge you, you don't want to be a part of their life anyways because they're going through it and it really doesn't have anything to do with you.
I need to get on that level. I'm not there. Like I'm not. Like I'm not. This is a topic for another time.
Yeah. I'm not there either.
Yeah. I have like deep insecurity about like.
And then you and I both have this thing with like justice and making like the balance and then balancing like energy that way. You're like, you are so unbothered and you're like, mm. And then Ange and I are like, well,
like justice, like things should be made equal. Like if.
Yes. But also just like what someone's judging you, like what gives you the right to judge? And then we get so angry about it.
So angry,
like,
we want to
angry
fight
about it. And you're just like, oh, they're judging me? Sweet. I'm gonna go eat a salad. Like you just don't. It doesn't register.
It doesn't register to you. It's great.
And I'll like lay awake at night being like, that person judged. Like I can't.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm working through it in therapy, but part of it, it makes me want to do it more sometimes.
Yeah, because you're being told like, oh, don't. And you're like, oh, don't.
You're Leo.
Tell me not to do something.
That's why.
I'll do it tenfold. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, tell me not to do something. I'm like, I will never do that shit again.
Yeah.
I will never do it again. Okay.
There was something that I had. Okay, so there's a photo shoot that I wanted to do because of my own sexual preferences, and it had to do with like me being pregnant and all this stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, like that'd be really fun. And then I think it was Brie was like, are you gonna post it? And I was like, oh, I didn't really think about it, but maybe I will. And then I was talking, and then I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to because a part of me would be enjoying the posting of it because I know that the Sue would freak out, and that's not a reason for me to post something.
No, but I'm so jealous of that. I want that. I'm not like that. I'm like, please don't look at me, please, like.
Because I'm just like, I don't really put much thought into it. It's you post whatever
you
the
just
fuck
do
you
it.
want, and it's like I feel good. And I had a long time of my adolescence where I didn't like my body, and I used to be ashamed of how I looked. And I think that most people can experience that at some time in their developmental years. And now I'm like, why the fuck did I let someone else tell me how I should feel about myself?
That's okay though, but because that has its place. And I feel like, you know, when you're young, like we tell these young kids to, okay, like we expect adult self-actualization from these kids before their brains are ready for it. And it's sad that kids and that adolescents feel insecure. I mean, we grew up I talk about this openly. Like we grew up in the 2000s where like literally everybody and their dog was anorexic, and we like talked about it openly, and
everyone was cocaine skinny.
Everyone was skinny, not eating, we're bulimic, we're whatever, blah, blah, blah. And that does stay with you, right? It stays with you. But that being all of these like pieces that we're given when we're adolescents, where people are passing judgment on us, we're looking at ourselves differently, we're being overly critical of our bodies. That is what allows you to have the awareness to change that behavior later, right? Like if you never went through that, you wouldn't realize that something needed to change. And some people go through that where they're hating their bodies in their 20s, hating their bodies in their 30s, hating their bodies in their 40s and in their 50s. I'm serious, right? I mean, and it never gets fixed because at some point you're like, okay, I don't like the way that this is making me feel. I need it to change.
Yeah.
And that perpetuates you into being more evolved.
We're all fucking, this is so like sounds so lame. We're all born naked. Like we all have a body. Like I don't get why sex is so taboo, all of these things. And I'm not saying that everyone is a prude or everyone needs to be sexualized, but I don't know why people give so much of a shit what someone else is doing. And I don't know. I could go on a whole tangent about it, but I think that as soon as you become a mom, it seems like there's a fucking instant switch and it's that much more intensified.
It is, yeah.
And I'm like, what is that differentiating? Like, why?
Do you know that brothels I am a history nerd. I will only say this one thing.
I'm excited about this.
Brothels in the Middle Ages there was an exception, even though they were not, and you can look this shit up. I don't know why I keep talking to the camera.
I like it.
Brothels in the Middle Ages were seen by clergy, so by religious authority, as a necessary evil for the appetites of men. So, okay, so it was not encouraged, but it was permissible for a man to go outside of marriage or to have sex before marriage in a brothel because he was a man and he had urges that he couldn't control.
Where's my brothel?
Right?
I was literally just going there.
They still to this day don't have satisfactory sex because it's all about men. It's all about men getting off and not caring that women are also sexual beings.
Yes.
That's why hysteria, like that's what it was.
Female hysteria.
And that shit happened.
Oh,
Yes.
I would
still
have been
happening
lobotomized. I would have been lobotomized
Me
so
too.
long ago.
Oh, me too.
Okay. Women, I believe, mostly have a way higher sex drive than men.
Yes.
I don't know why there's this depiction of men can't help themselves. If you listen to males' conversations, oh, I fucked her. That's literally the extent of it. If you hear some women, the specifics that they talk about and the communication in terms, if you want to talk about like the queer, it like men don't even know where the fucking clitoris is. My husband does, trust me, but like no other man, I swear to God.
No,
like,
Steve does
like,
too, okay?
They never have to.
But like
They never had to. They never had to because it doesn't matter.
It was like, it
Yes.
was insane. It wasn't even put in a medical book until the 90s what the woman's vulva actually was.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy because they didn't actually care about pleasing the other gender.
Yeah.
No,
But
it's
yet they're
about men
depicted
getting off
as-
and women bearing
The
sons. Pretty much.
The
It
male
was-
fruits.
It was sons more than anything.
However, there was a misconception I might be wrong, but I feel like it was like in the 18th century, maybe 19th century, where men were like obsessed with getting their wives off because if your wife or your wife in those days had an orgasm, it raised the chances of you being able to conceive, which is weirdly somewhat true because the female orgasm will draw, right? Like the spasms of the muscles will draw the semen up into where it needs to go so that it can make a beautiful, beautiful baby. I almost said delicious baby. But a delicious baby child. But a beautiful one.
Kids
Oh my gosh, no, the amount of times that I've said like I want to eat you, like it is like you'll want to eat your baby.
Yeah. Riley was
Just
talking
like,
about taking your baby and barbecuing it.
Yes.
She wants to eat the baby.
Just eat it and just season it. I used to pretend that I would put seasoning on Ian. Terrible. I'd be like, Mommy's gonna put salt and pepper on you and eat you. I love him so much. Oh my God.
Lorelai was marshmallows. I wanted to roast her.
Oh yes, roast it. Roast your baby. And with that,
Her little arms and legs were
I know.
marshmallows. I wanted to put them on.
and the best is when you have to take their rolls and you have to powder in between their rolls.
fucking love a fat baby. It's so cute.
Their little bums.
The whole like conceiving a child is crazy though. Like how it actually all happens, and we feel them move for the first time, and you know if you
Feels like gas though, doesn't it?
it's fucking
feels like gas.
crazy.
Feels like gas.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is nuts, and just how many things can go wrong, and the fact that we like so many babies are made all the time is insane to me.
I know.
We joke that when you make light of like a tragic situation, but when I had my first miscarriage, because it was in my fallopian tube, that Anthony like shot the ball too far. He's a football player, so it like went into the fallopian tube and it was too far. But like that's literally what happened. Is a
Or
semen?
that you're like one baby. We make very morbid jokes.
But
We
it's
do.
very
Morbid
morbid
jokes.
jokes. Talk about it. I remember
know.
when that happened, and I thought I was like broadcasting into the world, but I would come up in conversation because I was pregnant right up until my wedding, and then I was in the hospital for 12 different times up until 2 days before I got married. And that experience was awful. Like no one knew what the fuck was going on. No one. My levels kept going up and down.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, the baby's going to be okay. Oh, no, it's not. Like, and it was like this roller coaster of emotions of unknown. And that was my only experience with having an OB. Comes in the room and he's like, no baby on the table. You need surgery. And then walks out. And Anthony and I are like, what the fuck just happened? because it was confirmed that it was ectopic. So it was in my
Okay.
fallopian tube. And if it kept growing because the level inflation, that it could burst my fallopian tube, and then that would put me in harm's way.
Yeah.
So I ended up having, trigger word, but like an abortion because of the danger that it was putting me in. So I got the injections, and that was something that I went through that was hard for me. And anyways, like that whole experience, not having talked to really anyone about it, or really like I knew my mom had one, but like she talked about it like as a very like hush hush thing once when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then I'm just spewing a bunch of stuff, but they didn't tell me after that I couldn't have intercourse. So I'm on my honeymoon. I get married 2 days later.
Yeah.
I'm on my honeymoon, and I want to have sex.
Yeah.
And we try, and I'm like crying hysterically in the shower, and it's so painful, and I don't know what's happening.
Oh.
And then I ended up calling a good friend that I found out who also had an ectopic pregnancy, and she was like, I can't believe they didn't tell you. You can't have intercourse for like 6 weeks. They just didn't tell me.
That's not nice.
And so, which is fine. Like, obviously, like, I was like, okay, like, that's just the reality of it. But the fact that a doctor didn't even mention
Care
that, like, I'm
enough?
like, that's fucking
Or wasn't
crazy.
like, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
That you thought you were going to have a baby. Like,
Yeah.
oh, people are mean. Why?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the twin thing, too. So, like, right now, I'm pregnant, and it was twins at the beginning, which obviously you guys know. And then I lost one. And the more that I talked about it and asked other people, it's so common. So like once you find out that you're pregnant with twins, I think it's a 30 something, like low 30% chance that you'll lose one of them. Yeah. That's such a high statistic.
I did not
I feel
know
like
that.
that's a high
crazy.
number.
That's very high. Yes.
Very high. But no one discusses it.
No.
Like, it's not.
Or that you're like your one baby, like literally, like I know it
Fucking ate the other one. This
like a
thing is a
resort.
cannibal.
I know.
It fucking ate it.
And I
baby
hope that you
ate your
tell him
baby.
that.
I'm going to.
You ate your brother.
There's a photo in the nursery of like when the two were still there.
And be like, you ate
You-
baby A.
You ate him. You fucking ate him. But that's
Oh,
what
I
they
hope
do.
nobody
Like,
watches this.
It absorbs
Yeah.
it. But it's cool. So my placenta looks like a heart now. Because I had 2 placentas and then they merged as one. So
That's
isn't that kinda
cool.
right?
Just like your babies merged as one.
Yeah, I don't know how it's not gigantic. It's 2. But
I
anyways,
mean,
That's a baby.
he's gigantic in there.
feels fucking big.
That's a big baby.
Feels big.
Oh, baby.
They told me it has lots of hair and big feet, so Anthony's genes are sticking.
Angel.
Yeah.
A little meat bowl.
Oh.
But yeah, having said that, if anyone is pregnant or is pregnant in the future and they feel like what they're going through isn't normal, contact your healthcare professional, but also reach out to people.
Also contact me because I would love to talk to you about it. I would.
The amount of people that like
Yes.
when I reached out to and they were like, oh, I had like been through this, or my sister went through this or whatever. And I was like, oh, like you feel so much better and not as much shame because you're like, oh, there isn't something wrong with me. This
Yeah.
is quote unquote normal.
Yes.
You know, this happens all the time. 1 out of 3 pregnant people will experience a miscarriage in their life, whether they know about it or not. Like it's so common. And that's something that really helped me deal with it.
Yes.
Because you feel like, what's wrong with my body? Why is this happening? And it's, you know, it's trauma, really. But everyone just fucking sloughs it underneath. Like it's not talked about.
It's not talked about. Miscarriage is not talked about. Like it's
That's
not
so
like
weird.
It's
Yeah,
like
I don't
oddly
love
talked
it.
about only during like, you know, like they have like an awareness month.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
people come out of the woodworks and will
Yes.
talk about their miscarriage.
Yeah.
Like,
But it gets talked, and I understand. Okay, like in that regard, I understand why people aren't super open to talk about it because it is a very personal and very traumatic thing. I myself have not experienced a miscarriage, but I couldn't imagine all of the feelings that you would feel after having a miscarriage.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of just like, oh, I've had a miscarriage, and there's an acknowledgement in these, you know, awareness months and stuff, but not of the emotional toll that some people will experience where they experience something like akin to postpartum depression that lasts for a very long time.
Yeah.
And again, women are supposed to just kind of be like, had a miscarriage, time to try again.
yeah, time to try
No?
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also, I remember you know, both the times that it happened, and like talking to my partner about it and being like, how are you doing with this? Because like I feel like that would be really hard for the other person who isn't the person that's pregnant.
Yes.
Because it's one thing because it's happening to your body and so much shit happens. Like when it was the twin, nothing physical happened because I was still pregnant. Whereas with the first one, it was the one baby and I was having the miscarriage. So like so much stuff comes out. Your body is like changing. I remember I had to take photos of the things that were coming out of me and show the doctor. And it's not something that you're used to doing or seeing. And you're like, oh, this is literally like what would have been my baby. So it can be quite graphic and things happen. And so that's traumatic in its own respect because it's a physical processing that you're doing. Then there's the emotional toll, but then there's the partner who really they can't do anything. And they're like, this was also their offspring. And like that would be quite sad too. So it's, you know.
And even just the caring of like in your case, like Anthony being like his beloved is going through this, right? Like how is he supposed to help? Because they're like pregnancy and birth and stuff, like the male they can't do shit. Like they really can't. They're like, I'll just stand here and wait for you to have the baby and then maybe I'll hold it a little bit. But like there's nothing they can do. And that must be a very helpless place to be in as well when you're seeing somebody that you have yoked your life to and that you love so much going through this traumatic thing and that you cannot take a piece of that burden from them, you know?
On a completely other trajectory, the fact that men get praised for babysitting their own children.
Oh, please.
I will flip this room. Are you fucking kidding me? There's two parents. They're both moms. They both have a mom role, or I'm not having a kid.
No, I can't. I actually can't talk about this. Like, I can't.
No, literally single moms.
I cannot talk about this. I'm getting hot. I can't.
No, literally.
I get so mad.
No, but I think other women need to be validated because, okay, no, here we go. I was in this fucking class, this like support group class. It was
I'm going to need a support group after this conversation.
Literally, some of the women were just bitching about their husbands and how much they hate them. And it made me so uncomfortable. But I'm like, why did you settle for this piece of shit?
Why are you settling for that shit?
For these awful men that literally give you nothing, rue the day.
Yeah, but their parents would either. Like their dads.
I don't care.
They learned it though. They learned
it. I had a good father. Is that why I have a good husband? Like that shouldn't.
It's not even the bare minimum. They don't even get the bare minimum, and they're like, "I love him so much," and we're gonna take pictures in our matching plaid.
Equal parenting.
Even the women that I tattoo here, who I know some of their husbands and they're lovely people, but it's like, oh my gosh, okay, well, they've been with dad for 3 hours. Like, and you know what? To my own, I have felt like that too. It's the mother's guilt. It's just this mother's guilt that you have for the rest of your life.
And men are stupid and don't know how to do things properly.
That's true.
I don't think do we not challenge them?
We should, but most of them don't be challenged
because they're men and they'll yell at you.
fragile egos.
They'll yell at you, Katrina.
I like it.
Because he's an angel.
No, he is an angel. I cannot with that bullshit.
No, I know.
And it's accepted societally. Like it's literally praised. You're so
lucky
to have.
It is praised, but it's in the rhetoric of our media. Here we go. Here I started.
No,
okay,
do it.
It's the rhetoric because it's like everything that you see, Caitlin. I'm sorry. Oh, I know. Caitlin's dropped their mic off. Because you go online and it's like people bitching about their wife. I made my wife mad today. Oh look at my husband. It's like glorifying this. Like, no, it ain't right. Don't. And then like it's like, oh, I'm gonna go out with my boys and they all talk about how friggin' shitty their wives are. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You should be talking about how your wife is literally the jewel in your crown. Because when I go out, you guys know how I praise Steve.
Yes,
Steve is. I worship the ground that Steve walks on because he is a wonderful man and also because it is reciprocated. If he was like looking at me like I was some like, I don't know, milkmaid or whatever.
Oh, no, that's nice.
You know? Okay, well, I don't mean it in a sexual way. Maybe I do.
Welcome to the podcast.
You know, I think like it would be different. It would affect the way that I view him. I know that when he goes out, he doesn't talk shit about me because he's obsessed with me.
Why are you with the person that you're talking to?
Yes,
fucking
go
leave
be
them.
with somebody else.
The amount of people that will sit in my chair and are miserable, and I'm like, for one, be an open relationship then, because clearly you already are.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Men don't want to put in the even then they're going and bitching about their wives and not being like, my wife does all the grocery shopping, she does the meals, she took my kids to this, she fucking takes care of them. They don't even care about that. They're just saying, she didn't suck my dick, so fuck her.
Yeah.
But yet they don't even do half the parenting role. So it's not like they're getting the praise because you're doing all these jobs that the husband go home and crack a beer and sit on their fucking ass.
Yeah.
You're also treating them like shit because they're fucking miserable because you're not fucking getting them off, you're not helping with the kids, you're another child for them to take care of.
And you're going out with your boys, which is fine.
Of course
I know.
They're screaming at you because you're a piece of shit. You don't respect the woman who fucking birthed your children and keeps your fucking underwear clean.
Yes.
If I had a husband like Anthony, I don't want children. If I had a husband like Anthony and he was obsessed with me and was
all the babies.
I would have 12 kids.
All the babies.
Like that loved me that way and was as sweet of an angel as Anthony. Who's like, I'm gonna do the dishes and I'm gonna do this.
Oh,
and of course,
yes.
Like I would literally probably have 12 kids.
Yeah.
But I can't trust that a man will do that. And that's the way the society and generational shit has made men think that they need to be lazy fucking douchebags.
Most of them are very shitty. Some of them are fantastic.
Some of them are. And you know what? I feel bad because I feel like we shit on men a lot and there are
I don't feel bad.
They need to do better.
Over it.
Proof is in the pudding. If there was a higher percentage of men that were like fucking Anthony, then sure.
Yes.
But there's not.
I know.
Fucking prove it to me then. You can't.
I know. And then in the same breath, women are like, you're after my man. It's like, bitch, I'm not after your man.
No.
You don't have to please.
No.
I'm not though. I just like No.
It's my personality. Fucking, you're fine.
Yes, I know. I can't.
I hate the jealousy shit and the insecurities within relationships. Don't be with that person then.
No.
If they're gonna fucking cheat on you, they're gonna do it regardless if you're hovering over them anyways. But like,
they're not validating you enough.
I know.
They don't make you feel loved, seen, those things. So that jealousy that you're feeling is because your husband doesn't fucking like you.
And it's not even jealousy. It's just this paranoia of like everybody wants oh, you looked at my fuck. Honestly, I get when Steve's like, this girl looked at me. I'm like, yes.
See, I think that's hot. But
yes. I hope that they look at you because you are worthy of being looked at because you are a god and I love you.
You're fucking hot.
Right?
I
and
check
you're
you
beautiful.
Too.
And this is what, be happy. Somebody's looking at your fucking man, that be happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Mutual obsession or nothing.
Poor Caitlin.
Yeah, it's that famine mentality of like, because you have something and you're happy, that means that I'm not going to be. And there's such a limited amount of good men in this world. There isn't. Men just need to be held to a higher standard.
They do.
Be held to a higher standard or I'm going to swoop in and steal your girl.
Yes.
We also live in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, so I don't think that we're a proper representation.
No, we aren't a proper representation, but also the men that are actively cheating on their wives. I will make your wife happy. Fuck off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you will. But also, I feel like people...
Oh, she's going to
How soon is it going to cut out?
Bye.
I'm so upset.